Tebu ongeza volume. Ongeza volume. Damn. Ongeza volume. Greetings, Ongeza Volume family. It's been a whole minute. And I am so glad to be back. Is it too late to say Happy New Year? Anyway, May was my birth month, so it's a new year for me either way. So, Happy New Year, guys. I hope you guys missed me as much as I missed you all. First, I'd like to appreciate you all. I'd like to appreciate the new listeners. I'd like to appreciate my old fans, the old listeners. I'd like to appreciate everyone who's listened to the podcast this far. Everyone who has engaged Ongeza Volume on all platforms, be it Twitter, be it TikTok, be it Instagram, everywhere. Because regardless of us not releasing the episodes, we've still been engaging you guys on the social media platforms, and you guys have been amazing. We've been having such meaningful conversations all through the time. Since last year, since the last episode, the engagement is insane, and I truly appreciate the Ongeza Volume family. Oh, you guys, episode 10 from last year, and it is there. I don't want to jump into 2024 before we close out 2023. I know we are entering now the second half of 2024, but I'm a person who likes concluding things. Napenda kufunga chapter, tukiingia kwa chapter ingine. So I can't just leave 2023 pending like that. So this is what I'm gonna do. Because if I combine what was left of 2023 into 2024, this episode is not going to end. It's gonna be forever. So what I have decided to do, I have written down episode 10. I have put the link in the description. So everything that I would have said in episode 10, I put it in written form, in details. So you guys go and read it. Tell me what you think about the article. Itabidi mmenisamehe because I know there's a lot that was left of 2023 and a lot of meaningful conversations. So you guys go read the episode on there. Then let me know what you think about it. Na kwa hayo machache ninawaomba ruhusa tusonge mbele, tusonge into 2024 sasa. January ikianza, there was a conversation we were having about when is the best time in a year to release music for artists. And we engaged several people, both consumers and some of them artists. But what I know is different timelines work for different artists, depending on the strategy they have, depending on the projects they have, depending on the advice they get from their team, from the distributors. There's a lot of factors to consider in the whole process. So I'm bringing this up because I want to find out the artists who released their music in December, late December, how is your music performing? And if you were fortunate enough to release music in December and to release music within this year, 2024, in the beginning, when you compare both either projects or singles, how is the performance? We would really love that feedback because it was a conversation that we were having. Because I feel the feedback would guide some other artists on the best time to release their music. Another conversation that came up around late December, actually New Year's 31st December into 1st January, a lot of artists were complaining about event organizers. You would see rants on either Twitter or on Instagram, artists saying how, event organizers have messed them up. You would see artists cancelling. A lot was happening in December. It was a crazy month. And I'm glad to see that not a lot of that is happening recently. I haven't seen such complaints the first half of 2024. I haven't seen an artist book an event and then cancel later on. So I'm taking it as a good sign. Event organizers wanafaa ku take it slow, msitutesewe wasanii. And it's also good to solve these things amicably. Isifike point yenye, a person has to go to social media to actually raise their grievances instead of actually, communicating. Another major conversation we had in January, I'm just highlighting the things we were talking about while we were away so that we can catch up. We have a lot of catching up to do, guys. So this was a conversation from Twitter. Somebody by the name Brian Zisuk said, when I press play on an album from a new act, I listen to at least the first 3 full songs. If I'm not sold after the 3rd song, I'm out. If you're dead set on releasing albums, don't bury your best material at the bottom of the track list. most listeners aren't as patient, Somebody by the name Masika said, I listened to the end looking for a single that sounds better than the rest to put it in a playlist, but I only play the first 45 seconds of a song. If I don't like it, I skip. Now, Steve said, the first 30 seconds of every song, the first 3 songs in an album or an EP are so important. Most people don't listen to albums. If your project doesn't have songs that immediately stand out, Masika, who I guess is a playlister, is out. He won't add any of your songs to his playlists. For me, if the first 30 songs of each song sucks, I will just move on to the next album. The conclusion was stop dumping any songs you've recorded in a project and call it an album or an EP without careful consideration. Now, I posted this screenshot with everything that I've just read out, and I asked, Sani point of view on this? And these are some of the responses that I got. I don't want to mention who they came from, but I thought that the insights were actually very meaningful. So someone said, these are very interesting perspectives. First 30 seconds, first 3 songs. Anyway, they and every other person who wants to critique artists this hard are allowed to have their way, but it's too harsh. It takes a lot to put out work. You guys will never understand what it takes to become an artist until you try to put together an 8 to 13 track album or project, from conceiving the idea to actually delivering it to people. It is easier to give grace when you understand what it takes. It's hard to give grace when you think you have an understanding of what putting together a project looks like. Somebody else said, this one is interesting. It's a dilemma for us artists because we are not unaware of how much competition in terms of attention there is. However, when I'm making art, I have to think about how best to deliver this art. And sadly, that won't always mean making the first 30 seconds grab the listener's attention. Same goes with a film. Some start slow and pick up in the third act 2 hours in. I can't sacrifice the quality of my work for the purposes of grabbing the attention of a listener. Some artists reduce their songs into short sound bites so that they can get streams and plays on radio and playlists and whatever, and sacrifice intros, interludes, solos, breakdowns, bridges, key changes, switch-ups, etc. All for the sake of not being too difficult for the listener. I don't know if any of you guys have any more opinions on this matter, but basically the feedback that we got from the artists is almost the same as what I have just read out. I like this community that we've built, the Ongeza Volume community, because we get to compare the consumer perspective and the artist's perspective and try to find middle ground. Because now you see, most listeners, it is true that they'll move on to the next song or to the next project after listening to the first maybe few seconds, maybe 1 minute. People are different. Some have the patience and the grace to actually listen to a whole project. That is, if you're actually interested in the artist or in the genre, people are different. Some majority actually of consumers will lose the attention after a few seconds into a song if it doesn't grab their attention, unless now it appears somewhere on a trend on social media. They'd be like, okay, maybe now their attention is going to be drawn back to that particular song or project. But at the same time, artists put a lot into the projects, into the songs, and it takes a lot. In this conversation, there is not a side to be picked. This is not about sides. This is just about feedback. It's about feedback. Because if you're an artist, when you're making your art, when you're making, your music, it is good to sometimes put the listener in mind. But at the same time, don't lose the process. Don't lose the form that you intentionally planned for your art. And also now for the listener, it is good to also keep in mind that these bodies of work that have been put out by the artists have taken a lot of time and effort. And when we are listening to them, it is also good to at least have that patience, have that grace, and listen to what they have to offer. Sijui kama mnanipata vizuri ama niongeze volume. Yes, moving on to the next conversation. Zilikuwa kadhaa by the way, mmekuwa busy. Tumekuwa busy sisi wote. Also in January, I got to ask you guys what artist you would like to experience live properly in 2024. See, vizuri, properly. and you guys gave so much feedback. I remember hata IG yangu ilihang hadi tulifika limit ya reposts. You guys will just allow me to read out every name that was mentioned. Ziko mingi sana, so brace yourself. And as you listen, ninataka mjiulize ni nani mmeona ameperform vizuri so far first half of 2024, na ni nani akona deni ndio tumuitishe hiyo deni the second half of 2024. So mkae rada. So I'm gonna start. Mutoria, Bensoul, Charisma, Otimula, Mulaka, Modest, Keithan, Costa, Rasamor, Sero, Billy Black, Sandra Solit, Karun, Njerae, MDQ, Nyashinsky, Calligraph, Zaituni, Be For Real, Polaris, Lisa Odornoa, Flyer, Nyabuto, Giuliani, Ayrosh, Ochiko, The Movement, The Unit Band, Jukebox Band, Hornsphere, Konozwa, Geosax, Mora, Njokikaru, Nviri, Iyana, Kalamoto, Jeff Logan, Kendin Konge, Deepa Connection, Tetushani, Liboy, Lafrik, Afropatra, Labdi, Bien, Babra Wangui, Jojo, Jadi, Mudoka, Zinia, Brocode, Meryl Page, Mbidi, Darklord, Frederick Mula, Bakita, Michelle Gatwiku, Wendy K, Blinky Bill, Mvua, Irene, Analo, Ori, Yaba, African Vic, Sigu, Okello Max, Watendawili, Yozowo, Mr. Mysteriful, Only Rosa, King Nasibi, Brandy Minor, Maali, Hat the Band, Asa Stone, Kinoti, Barry Momelo, Genesis KE, Fraser Thatia, Bibi Ricochet, Concord. I hope I'm saying these names well. African Muse Band, Wanjine, Loki the Great, K-Rope, and Hilda Watiri. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. Msi come at us, juu hatujataja msanii mwenye ulitaja. But yes, so ni nani ameperform, first half of 2024? Ni nani tunamuitisha deni? Make sure mmeniambia. Now, enough of the conversations that we had. Hiyo tumefunga, tumemalizana nayo. We move on. 2024 has been insane with music releases, and I have been fortunate enough to have time to keep track of most of the releases that have been happening since the year started. We usually do a weekly check on the music that has been released every week. We usually post them on Instagram, and at the end of the exploration, we add them to our weekly playlist that is on Spotify. The link is in the description, so you guys can go and check out the music that was released in May, because now the playlist has the music that was released in May. We do it weekly, but I don't usually remove them until the month ends. So now as June starts, we're gonna do now like a fresh and start with the music that is going to be released in June. But for now, the playlist has music that has been released in May 2024. A hack that I shared with you guys on social media as well. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to listen to new music or new projects or new singles. So what I usually do, what works for me, I don't know if it's gonna work for you, but you can try it out and see. Before getting to mass sample new music, I tend to listen to my comfort music for some time, like an hour or two, or from like when I wake up. I listen to my comfort music so that at least it can, warm my brain a bit, because it can be a bit of a lot to listen to a lot of new music at the same time. So I would recommend either listening to it kidogo kidogo, ndio usiume na kichwa, or if you want to listen to all of them at the same time, I would recommend, consuming your comfort music first, and then now sampling the new music. So once again, you guys will just, please naomba ruhusa, you will allow me to quickly mention the projects that we have highlighted on the Ongeza Volume platform since the year started. I will just mention them quickly ndio tusonge haraka tukisonga. Hatuna time. If you don't hear your project, or if you don't hear your favorite project, please feel free to DM, to comment on this episode, and plug us to the project that has not been mentioned. So Mandi de Mauru, Brooklyn Boys, B-Boy Settings, Kwamerege, Kinyanginye, na nikizisema vibaya mnisamehe tafadhali na mnifunze vile zinasemwa. RS66, Gangster Points, Fushi the Sage, karibu nisheme. Please I Tried, Imani Kendi, St. Julian, Misfit, Zitakazopendwa, Yaba, Nikagesa, Resonance, Blinky Bill, We Cut Keys 2, Good Old Days, Nyashinsky, Wasaga Elisha, Zero Pressure, Vijana Barubaru, Passionate Pages, Dopamine, Diverse, Soulgen, Press Play, Chronicles, Big Yasa, Wapoa Season, Okello Max, Cuffed in Love, Brian Mook, Floating, Blocker Beats, No Hooks, Just Buzz. And he's about to also drop another EP. Mko kazi huku nje. Polaris Pauline, Tufanye, MDQ, Monsoon, Fancy Fingers, Love Language, Liangalisa, Honey, Bedroom EP, Tesla Kenya, Situationships, Lelaika, Pieces of Me, Praise, While I Was Away, African Vic, Unscripted, Andrew Wambua, Halas, Moshi EP, Waithaka, Elsa Fanjora, Njora wa Manjaro, Gabi, Where We Are Going to Drown, Butros Mtindo, Umoja Sounds Flavor, Nyambura Songbird Lipia, For Mr. Frank White, Mziza wa Dimanga, Mayonde Start Again, Winnie Elsa, Letters by Winnie Elsa, Closer by Navy, Karun, Msaki and Hendrik Sam, Lavender Construction Volume 2 by Petrus, Mombasa's Loverboy by Kalebawiti, Echoes of Farewell by M. Rumbi, Take One by Joy Njoki, Healing EP by Keithan, Timestamp by Israel Onyach, Out to the Old EP by Njerae, Melodramatic EP by Maali, Superstar Album by Ayrosh, No Overthinking by Savara, Neighborhood Heroes by Genesis and Omoa Mafegi, Nyumbani by Mura and Ali Fresh, Soul Duets by Waithaka, Nia by Riziki Ke, Billy Black, Find a Way by Shalom and Cheru, Dira by Jadi, Third Eye by Echo 254, and Outside by Kabuga. That was a lot. Kama kuna project yenye umesikia inaweza ku-interest, ama kama msanii mwenye you're a fan of, akona project na umesikia, make sure you go listen to it. Sample it, feel free to tell us what you think about it. What have we been up to all this time in silence? Kwanza hata kabla tuingilie story ya this year, I want to mention something funny from last year. You guys, we got blasted. By we, I mean Kadin and I. We got blasted on Zuckerberg's internet for asking people to play Kenyan music. I will leave it at that. Sina mengi ya kusema. 2024 has brought a lot in terms of artistry, in terms of music, in terms of live shows, in terms of new releases. Like, we are spoiled, you guys. 2024 has spoiled us. Na wasanii mko kazi kweli kweli. We love to see it. So, I'm gonna highlight the events I was able to attend. Some I won't highlight because of time, of course. So I'll just, mention the major ones. I also reduced my intensity of attending events since last year. Life comes at you hard sometimes, man. Sometimes you just want to be alone. But then at the end of the day, you realize, I need this music. Unarudi tu pale. Therapy. But guys, go for therapy as well. Msiseme, Ongeza Volume alisema mziki ni therapy. No, see your therapists. So the first event I attended in 2024 was Ivy Alexander at Geco on 13th February. She was playing with the Syndicate band that comprises of Jazel on drums, Nick Kera on bass guitar, Amor on sax, and Lucas on keys, and now Ivy on lead guitar. If you've been on this podcast for a minute, you know that I truly appreciate instrumental music. I even have a playlist for instrumental music. That is how obsessed I am with instrumental music. In another life, I was probably an instrumentalist. The performance had a lot of guitar solos. She did covers for common songs, and she did also her originals. She has projects out. You guys should go listen to them. She called on to stage Bensoul, Kinoti, and Shitakwa, who sang either their songs or Ivy's songs. Generally, I loved the performance. It was a good start to my year. A lot of the videos from this performance are posted on the Ongeza Volume page on TikTok, so you guys should go and check them out there. I'm going to mention this a lot all through the episode because it is true. I'll just guide you to what events I have already put on there. The second event I was able to attend was Afreenation that happened on 18th of February. It was the Lovers Edition because, Valentine's is coming. And the artists who are playing were Njerae and Kinoti and Wanjine. Nick the DJ opened the event as always. He played a purely Kenyan set, much appreciated. Then Wanjine was the first artist to perform. Wanjine is a captivating songwriter, singer, performer, and he does some of his music in Kikuyu, if not majority. He was performing with a band, Loco on drums, Tugi on bass, and Iceland on lead guitar. Loco was also doing BGVs and ad-libs. Like, that was crazy. A lot of the times I've experienced Wanjine, it has been acoustic, him with an acoustic guitar and maybe a keyboardist. But experiencing him with a full band was a different experience. He got to perform some of our favorites like Wagereirie. Wagereirie. I hope I am saying these names right. Wanjine has the ability to capture and engage the audience. Na akona mafans wake. You guys, I don't know if you guys have been in the crowd when Wanjine is performing. It's crazy. Everyone is singing the lyrics word for word. Ni wewe tu unadua hapo because you don't know the lyrics to his songs. He did some of his original music and some Kikuyu covers like Maheni by Ayrosh. The highlight of his performance, my highlight of his performance, was when he did the cover for Sophia Nzau's Mwaki. I slid east the strings. Immediately you heard it, you just know it's Mwaki. And the energy in the crowd was insane. People were jumping and Wanjine was singing the lyrics. It was sometimes you just stand in the crowd and you're like absorbing all this in and appreciating the moment and being like, yeah, this is good. This is the life. Next on stage was Njerae with the Unit Band for the first time. If you've listened to the previous episodes, you've heard me mention the Unit Band. Comprises of Ebenezer on keys, Mark Muller on lead guitar, Mark bassist on bass guitar, and some Gidinji on drums. So previously, Njerae used to perform with her keyboardist and her lead guitarist, who was Jamie Muindi. But at Afreenation would have been the debut of her performing with the Unit Band. So you can imagine the amount of excitement that was there when the band came to stage first before her. And if you have not been on the socials, there has been a hashtag going around that it is hashtag Mwaka wa Njerae, and she has taken it seriously, owned it, and we're gonna see why and how she has done that. Ndio tunaanza. So the band was on stage, Njerae wasn't on stage yet. The intro was a combination of lyrics from various songs as the band was teasing. Then she came onto stage, and one thing during this experience when she was performing, I have never experienced her music arranged the way the unit had arranged it. Unintentional, the album felt so new. The band was having so much fun, though at some point it got really somber when Njerae picked up the acoustic guitar. It's crazy how in one set, Njerae has the ability to evoke joy and happiness and peace when she's performing, and at the same time she also has the ability to evoke, sadness and some surreal emotions. So she just picked up the guitar and the mood just went somber, and I was like, oh my god, we're gonna cry. Kwanza lyrics zikikugonga zikupate pabaya. Yo, there's this song by DJ Mura and Njerae called Loving. Every time it's performed, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy because I remember the first time I experienced it live, it was still at Alchemist and the song was still new. So every time I hear the song being performed, I really appreciate it. And to make it even better, the arrangement by the Unit Band was top tier. Ashley, there was even a dance routine by Ash. Ash came onto stage, joined Njerae, and they danced to Loving. So it has a routine now, tumeishika. Kama hamko kwa events, sijui kama mnajua dancing style, mseme kama mnataka tuwafunze. DJ Mura and Ali Fresh also have a new project that also features Njerae in it. Like power combo, you guys. There's also a recent release, it was recent at that time, not now, that is called Party by DTX and Njerae. And it was the first time performed by a full band. I know people were not as receptive as the other songs, but mimi nilikuwa nina dedi. I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, this is a new release. She's already performing it with a full band, and it sounds good live. It sounds even way better live. That song has a lot of potential, by the way. Mwende muisikize. The next time Njerae ana perform muimbe na mdance. Msisimame tu mkimwangalia ni kama hamjaisikia hiyo wimbo. She performed OTD, of course. Hey, arrangement ya OTD ni tamu, you guys. There's also a dance routine for OTD with Ash. Something that caught me by surprise is that they did not end the performance with OTD. Like, every time, tumezoeshwa na wasanii that their biggest hit or their most loved song is usually the one to close the set. So every time an artist usually pulls the stunt of not closing the show or the performance with, most famous, most loved song, and they still ace it, it fascinates me. So she closed with Akisioni. And when I was talking to the band, they told me that their favorite song performing is Akisioni, that it has a lot of potential, which I think so too. Because initially, if you would have told me that a performance can end with Akisioni, ningekwambia we jaba. End to na OTD, But it's interesting to explore your catalog and bring out the best of each song that you have written and to perform it as impeccable as any other hit song of yours. The next person on stage was Kinoti, and he was playing with the Chromatixx band. This was exciting because it had been a minute since Kinoti performed with the Chromatixx band. I was so glad they got reunited. So as always, Chromatixx are very dramatic. The intro had 3 parts. First part was a lady saying, "Welcome to Chromatixx Airlines." Second part was a common R&B song. And the third part was a Kinoti song. All this time, Kinoti bado hajapanda stage. Then akaingia stage na safe space. I loved the denim jacket he was wearing. It had his face at the back. Hadi vile aliingia stage, akapenduka, akatuonyesha, and you're like, okay, approved. The kingdom has approved it. We are now ready to buy it. Alisema ata release your merchandise soon. Sasa sijui hiyo soon ni soon ya lini, lakini tunangoja. You guys know the song fully. So before he started singing, the band had a mini solo for each instrument. And I was just like, nilikuwa na marker after every solo. Niko like, okay. Ebu sikieni. Hey! Kinoti was joined on stage by Ochiko, Yozowo, Modest Chabari. What do they have in common? They have collaborations with Kinoti. I already uploaded some of the videos on TikTok, so you guys should go check them out. You guys know the recently released EP, Little Messages. That was the first time I was actually experiencing them live with a full band, and it was an exciting experience. Like, having listened to those songs after streaming them, and then experiencing them live is a totally different experience. The other exciting part of Kinoti's performance, when he was performing Niwe, arrangement ilikuwa ya Love in This Club, the song by Asha. Who even knew they can sync? Like, akili ya wasanii inakuanga tu on overdrive. Because how can you sync the two of them? And at some point he even sang the song itself. Na zikaingiana. Ukisikiza Niwe utasikia Love in the Club kweli. It was an interesting combination. On 24th February, Ayrosh was performing at Geco. Nyinyi mafans wa Ayrosh mmekuwa mkisema vile mmekuwa mkingoja project for a very long time na ni kama aliwasikia. So Ayrosh has recently released an album by the title Superstar. But in February, haikuwa imetoka. So at Geco, he was playing with his band, obviously, Jukebox, and Kimbassax. Something that fascinated me about the whole performance, Gavi na Kimbassax walikuwa BGVs. I like nabambikanga sana when these two are on the microphone. Na wanaweza imba, by the way, msiwaone tu hivi hivi. So Ayrosh played his original songs. He also performed what I tend to believe are commonly loved Kikuyu songs. He did the covers. It was an energy-packed performance, by the way. We hadn't experienced him in a while, so it was very refreshing. The saxophone spiced up the whole performance. Like, nilikuwa na feel ni kama ilikuwa na fill in gaps. And every time Kimba would go and do a solo, Ayrosh would dance. It was so infectious hadi ulikuwa unasikia tu kusimama kudance. Na unajua tu anywhere the LYE gang iko lazima tu wataperform ile mashup yao ya LYE. Anywhere you see Kimbassax and Charisma and Ayrosh together, na uongeze hapo Baby Suda, Musalia. It's over. Tulikuwa hapo tuna flip dreadlocks. Same day was the International Jazz Festival, but I didn't attend it. The guys who attended it said the performances were really good, so hopefully the next Jazz Fest nitakuwa hapo kuattend. Experience mimi mwenyewe. On 25th February, wiki ni kama nilienda events. On 25th February, I attended Karun's event at the Beer District. Acha niwakonfesie kitu. I am a newly inducted Karun fan. Actually, Kenyan R&B in general. Like, I would listen to Kenyan R&B, but ilikuwa a bit sparingly. But since somewhere last year, nimekuwa into Kenyan R&B, you guys. Nimekuwa lover girl. So I arrived when Basma was performing. Basma is a DJ producer. The band setup was percussions, bass, and keys. Olango on bass and Lucas Mosh on keys. So the band started playing and she started singing from the back. Akitembea kukuja mbele. Ilikuwa give mysterious because she like just strolled slowly to the stage as she was singing. Her outfit was everything. It was a blue two-piece, like a crop top, and a mbele nyuma skirt. I don't know what they are called. The ones that are usually short at the front and long at the back. Mina zitanga mbele nyuma. Ma designer ebu mnichanue. And sneakers. Karun's audience engagement was top tier. At some point, one of her friends joined her to sing, and they harmonized so well. They were singing a song that she said she wrote when she was, should be 15, and she likes that song so much. When I started listening to Karun, I realized she has a massive catalog. Unacheza na mtu mwenye alianza kuandika mawimbo akiwa 15. Yo. She mashed up known R&B tracks in her own style with her music. I loved that. She performed the commonly loved songs like Only You, Pen and Paper, Reason. As a Karun fan, you'd have left the venue satisfied for real. At some point, she asked the audience to come closer to her because people were seated. So watu walisimama wakaenda very close to the stage. And people were singing her songs word for word. I was just marveling. She even sang an unreleased verse. Akasema, oh, I didn't release that. And I was like, wow. Because I think people realized like, I've not had that before. And then she actually saw the audience reaction and reacted to it. Like, wow. I've also realized she pays a lot of attention. I felt like this event was an exclusive experience. Like, if you're a Karun fan, you should have been there. She even asked people to step onto stage and dance with her and sing with her. Hey, it was such a one-on-one experience. Towards the end, her baby started crying, and you know what she did, you guys? Mi hata nasikia kulia. Alibeba mtoto. She carried her baby and she was still singing, and then she sang while she was comforting the child. You guys. And also I realized her family was present. And it is beautiful to see families that support the artist. It's such a big deal. Generally, the Karun experience was very good. Very good. That must have been my first time seeing Karun perform. On 9th March, Hornsphere were performing at Geco with the Unit Band. This had me very excited. Pia sikuwa nimeona Hornsphere wakiperform for a very long time. So Hornsphere have an EP called the Sherehe EP and an album called Formation. You guys should go listen to them. Hautakuwa umewaste a few of your hours. Itafika hata 1 hour. You will love each and every single minute. They performed tracks from the Sherehe EP. As a person who has attended a lot of Hornsphere events, you would assume or you would expect the set to be predictable. Shock on me. The set was so unpredictable. Nilikuwa nashinda nikiangalia the band members, ninashtuka, niko like, okay, where is that coming from? Personally, such things excite me when I can't predict the set. They took a break somewhere katikati, and one representative from the Unit Band gave a tiny speech. It's a customary thing they do because the unit band was turning 1 year. So Sam Githinji, who's the drummer, is the one who gave the speech. Ata band ikianza, he's the one who still gave the speech. It's crazy how long 1 year is. He appreciated the love and the support that the unit band fans have been giving and the artists they've played with and the growth that they've had in 1 year. They then called Njerae to stage for a special set, and walisema vile ni mwaka wa Njerae, pia ni mwaka wa unit band. So they performed Loving by Njerae, yenye nilikuwa nimeongelelea a couple of minutes ago. So Hornsphere came back on stage for the second set. Wakaingia sasa kwa formation album vizuri. They called Kinoti to stage. Wakaimba the collaboration they have, Remember. And what I didn't expect, they performed Nitangoja. Nitangoja with horns slaps. You guys, yenyewe tutaendelea kungoja. That joke never gets old. They also called Mutoria onto stage. They performed the collaboration they have together for Lovers. And, you know, Mutoria fans atukwangi sawa. So definitely tukaitisha better. I'm telling you, better with horns. Me, I feel like just horns make everything better. The full videos are on Mutoria's YouTube. You guys should go check them out. So Hornsphere have a collaboration with Watendawili. Wakauliza kama wako kwa audience, hawako wamefika. We later on found out that they had an event that they were performing in Limuru, so there was mad traffic, so wakachelewa. But walifika baadaye. But before wafike, the collaboration they have with Hornsphere ni Kata. Guess nani alipewa microphone kuimba? Mimi kama msanii hodari. So Hornsphere played horns and we sang like with the crowd. And Cheruko Imet took amazing photos. I will post them while I was holding the microphone with everybody singing with me. That was such a beautiful moment, you guys. Cheru captures the best moments in the best way possible. When Watendawili finally arrived, they performed Chamtum. Vile walikuwa naingia hivi stage. And then I just shouted, Wozaa! Mimi bede, mnite ni wa hype events. Ama ni MC. Because this volume is being ongezwad everywhere. My mom used to tell me nilimeza amplifier. Hey! Yo, the irony. So at that point in time, some friends and I, we were organizing an event for Watendawili, which I will talk about. We named it Wozaa World. So that is why I shouted Wozaa within the crowd. Of course, uko mbele. So they performed Chamtum. The video is on TikTok. You guys should go check it out. Ongeza Volume on TikTok. Just go and type Chamtum, Ongeza Volume, utaipata. After the performance, they spoke a bit about Wozaa World, inviting people to attend it. On 13th March, we went to see Lisa Oduor performing at Soulful Strings. That usually happens at Cuban Code. I think Cuban Code is a new entry in the regular events that happen weekly. And it's a good thing to see that more venues are embracing artists. And that is curated by McKinley. So earlier in the year, I was in my Kenyan R&B lover girl era. I listened to a lot of Lisa. The last time I saw Lisa perform must have been Second Service. She was going to do an acoustic set with Lucas Mwesh on the keys. She performed songs by other Kenyan female artists. And she was like, it's the month for the girlies, so why not? It made me so excited. And this is why she did Glow Up by Karun and Niambia by Zinia. And singing songs by Zinia Manasseh and Karun is significant because the three of them, Lisa, Karun, and Zinia, have Lucas Mwesh as their music director. So it was just an interesting fact. One thing I loved about the audience, when Lisa would start singing, she wouldn't say that she's going to sing a song by so-and-so. She would start singing it and then she would ask, who is that song by? And then the whole crowd would yell like either Zinia or Karun, and that made me so happy. Like, we're a lot of Kenyan R&B lovers out here. Lisa's crowd engagement was top tier, regardless of people talking amongst themselves. Like, wasa walikuwa wanaongea. I understand it's like a social setting and everything, and it's at the end of the day, people want to have conversations. But regardless of people talking that loudly, Lisa was still engaging people. and people were receptive and responding and singing along, which was good. The keys sounded so good, and he was in sync with Lisa the whole time. Like, you would see them do cues to each other. No, not just, okay, wako kwa the same page. She did Daylight, which is one of my ultimate favorite songs from her. And the crowd sang along. Watu walikuwa wana harmonize. Kwani mlikuwa wasanii kwa hiyo crowd? Because y'all were harmonizing bana. She did some covers for Afrobeats. She also did her originals, akina Jahera. Man, Lisa's vocal range. Hey! Like, it never gets old. It never gets old. Alafu, the thing with me when I experience a live performance, it changes how I listen to the music when I'm streaming. So when I reach some certain parts, zenye alikuwa nafanya runs when I had it live, ninasikia hizo runs when I'm listening to it on a streaming platform. Towards the end of the set, she gave Lucas to do a short solo on keys, and then also McKinley joined with his trumpet. It was like a fun jam session. Towards the end, Sia joined together with the crowd in singing Lisa's cover of Best Part that is on YouTube. Wanjirungothi covered that on one of her episodes on Mood Monday. I hope mliona. And man, nawambia mlikuwa wasanii kwa hiyo audience, because the harmonies, ebu sikieni. On 17th March, I was invited to Lelaika's listening party. Lelaika is a female Kenyan artist that I also discovered this year. She was about to release an album titled Pieces of Me. It was a 12-track album, which is now out. You guys should go and listen to it. So in attendance were some of the featuring artists, and they were getting interviewed one by one. They also managed to show us the team that is behind the project. Shout out to Maggie. She's the one who invited me to the listening party in the first place. An amazing moment, that one. Another thing that stood out for me, they credited the instrumentalists that worked on the album and the instrumentalists that usually perform with Lelaika. And they highlighted that some of the instrumentalists that Lelaika usually plays with also play with Yaba, who was also in attendance and is an artist that is featured in the album. Should be 2 songs. Now, I know you guys, if you have seen Lelaika, you might have asked yourself why she wears the mask. I mean, that was my first reaction, and I am glad they actually talked about it. So she got to discuss why she has the mask, and this is what she said about it.
Tell us the story behind getting a mask for your face.
Yeah, I need to know that.
2 years ago, we started this journey with freelance music. And I had been recording before. I could record when I was in high school, but I did actually videos the whole time. I was so afraid of being in front of the camera. It just shook me. And I couldn't even perform in front of people. I was nervous. It was mad. So we just came up with an idea that makes me feel like I am somehow self-reserved as I give myself to people in the form of music as an art. So yeah, that's how we did that.
On 19th March, I attended very briefly Nakili Sessions where Lafrik were playing. As always, they did an interview segment. Tessie was the one that was moderating the interview. And the funny thing is, Ali doesn't eat chili. He was introduced to chili by Brandon. Kwa wenye hawajui, Lafrik is a 2-boy band made of Ali and Brandon, just as I have mentioned. They performed Nitakupenda, which is one of my favorite songs from them. They were playing with Ebenezer on keys and Tugi on bass. Now, they performed an unreleased track with Mutoria. You guys, nawambianga, stai choka kusema, utamwa live shows ni unreleased. That is a really dope song, and I can't wait for it to be released. Lakini unajua tunasemanga hivyo. Lakini mtangoja, by the time mnafika 40 years ndio mnasikia, nani kama ninajua hii wimbo in my youth. That video is also on TikTok. You guys should go and check it out. On 21st March, Wozaa World was happening. Wozaa World needs a whole episode from me or from us. Because I was part of the organizing team, I was working with Nawiri Entertainment. So I just want to give a huge shout out to the people we were working on the event with, the ideator being Wanjine. We also worked with Matilda Wangeshi, Tesi Washira, Kadeen, and Live in NBO, and myself. And I'm so grateful that you guys believed in us, and you guys showed up, and you guys believed in what we could do, and the showcase was a success. I just want you guys to hear yourselves singing in the crowd. It was such an eerie moment. I'm telling you, tulikuwa tunashikilia machozi huko nyuma. We were like, oh my God, we did this. So we need like a whole episode for that, to be very honest. We're going to circle back on that. I don't even want to talk about it. Ebu jisikieni. Na mimi nikalamba glucose nikasema we proceed. On 23rd March, the butterfly effect was happening and Karun was the one who was headlining. So when I've previously spoken about Karun, she was performing at Pia District. She just had bass, percussions and keys. Now she's going to have a full band, and that is what I wanted to experience. Niliwaambia in my Kenyan R&B era. So the band comprised of Dre Masharia on drums, Ivy Alexander on electric guitar, Tom Olango on bass guitar, and Lucas Mosh on keys. Butterfly Effect was mostly DJs before Karun performed, and it was going to be DJs after Karun performed. But I was more interested in seeing Karun's performance. So before Karun came on stage, the band was on stage, and the intro was insane. The lights were red, and they were flickering, in sync with the music. Like if there was going to be like a finyo part, the lights would flicker in sync with the music. Woo! There was so much thrill. Na hata Karun hakuwa amepanda stage. I've even did a guitar solo before Karun came onto stage, and she killed it. Eventually, Karun came onto stage with her dancers. Yes, she had dancers. Her outfit, you guys. Hey. Her outfit was red. It was hot. It was sexy. It was chains. Hey! I think some parts of the outfit must have been made by OCK. Inaitwanga the Oak. I don't know if it's the Oak or the OCK. May I just say OCK because I'm not sure. Her hair, matching colors, her makeup. Hey! Like her full presentation matched the mood because it was still, the month of women. And so it delivered. Also, the setting of the event, it actually delivered. The event felt exclusive for some reason because watu hawakuwa wengi. So it was even comfortable being in the audience. So watching her performance at the Butterfly Effect, comparing it to seeing her perform at Pia District, like you could tell she was intentionally working to improve her performance. There was just more. There was more of everything. Yani, bro, I'm sorry, but I haven't experienced Karun that much before. Hata mkienda msikize hizo episodes zingine, hakuna point hata moja nina mention Karun. When she started singing Pen and Paper, tulikuwa hapo na Basma. Ay. The audience engagement was beautiful to watch. She was asking the guys to harmonize. She was asking the girls to harmonize. And then she would also sing together with all of us. I noticed that she had 2 mics. One was on the stand and the other one was wireless. She was moving around with it. And I feel like this was cool to accommodate her dancing because she was having some dance routines with her dancers. And it was convenient because she could sing while dancing. At some point, she was alone on stage. The dancers left. Depending on the track and the mood of the song, kama haina dance routine, the dancers would exit. Ikifika time ya kudance, wanarudi stage. Let me tell you guys, there's a part I just stood in awe. So there was this dance routine they were doing. She was singing the song. And then towards the end, it felt like it was the outro of the song and they were like dancing. So I noticed Tomalango was signaling probably the lights guys at the back. So he was like 4, and then after some arrangements, he would do 3. After some arrangements, he would do 2. And I was like, anxiously waiting to see what happens at 1. Yo, and you know what happened after 1 was signaled? Akina Karun like went down and then the lights went off. Bro, what? Such things made me so excited. I was like, no way that just happened. That was exciting. Anyway, moving on. At the end of the set, she introduced the band and they did tiny solos. Now, on 27th March, I went to Jadi's performance that was happening at number 7 in town. They were playing with the Chromatixx. Chromatixx Nilari on keys, Ismahadi lead guitar, Odupa on drums, and Tugi on bass guitar. Dope band. Now, if you guys have listened to some of the previous episodes, Miss Ketuki complained about how sound ya number 7 haijakuwa poa for a while. And I also took to social media, on Twitter, IG. We tried to tag them, to make them aware, because for real, me niliumwa na kichwa, by the way, the first time I experienced the sound at number 7. Hadi ikafanya nikose kuenda huko na ni wasanii wenye ninapenda, because I'm like, I don't think I want to hurt my ears and get headaches. Bro, you have to put yourself first. Maisha usipojipenda utapendwa na nani? So when I arrived at the venue, somebody approached me. It must have been one of the event curators, and they were like, so we've seen what you have been saying about number 7, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. But you guys, I wasn't in trouble. He genuinely just said, I'm glad that you're here today, and please experience it, and then give us feedback on how you feel about this current sound. And I was like, okay, let's see. So when Jadi were performing, I was like, oh, they've actually improved, because I didn't have to go outside to shield my ears or anything. Even when the band started playing, I was like, okay, that's not too bad. Like, it's an improvement. And when we tweeted them on the Ongeza Volume page on Twitter, follow us, they said, and I quote, "We are working on rectifying that." And I thought it was just, PR. But they actually went ahead and intentionally worked on it, on improving the quality of sound. So when I even went back to social media and posted some of the videos from that night, and I actually acknowledged that they have been trying to improve and I can feel the improvement, this is what they said, and I quote, "We are not perfect, but we sure get better each day. Thanks. Tunaweza ongeza volume sasa." Like, bro, it's beautiful to see when venues and artists take constructive criticism and intentionally work to become better. Like, that is why we are here. Like, sio chuki, we are not haters. Don't take us for haters, bana. Tunawapenda, we just want a better experience for one, and we also want the best for you guys as well, because kama hatungewaambia wanatuumiza masikio, sisi ndo tungeendelea kuumia na ingefukuza watu. So nobody is winning. So number 7, good job you guys. Anyway, nimedigress sana. Jadi's performance, loved it. My highlight was when Dave Waweru, New Dave, came on to stage and performed If You Dare, which is a recent release. Kama hujasikia, enda usikie. Mimi iyo wimbo The Bass. Hey, bass girls. Yo, mngekuwa hapo. Ata in the song itself, remarkable. Also, another highlight of Jadi's performance, when Ochiko came to stage and they performed Hallelujah. Same thing. Bass, you guys. The bass on that song, New Chawi. And on both songs, the songwriting is actually good. I didn't attend a lot of events in April. I think after March, I just needed to rest because I felt like I used a lot of energy, and events can drain you, both organizing and attending. Like, bro, I just needed a break. So in April, I attended only one event. I went to the Jam, which is organized by Tangaza Magazine and Goethe Institute. Goethe. Mulikuwa mnangoja niseme Goethe. We are moving away from that. Tulifunzwa. So the people who are going to perform we are Nubia and Maali. So we are Nubia performed with a person on keys and bass and lead guitar at the beginning. Mark that part, at the beginning. The audience was actually huge. Watu walikuwa wengi, by the way, na kulikuwa na wasanii kadhaa within the crowd. Shout out to you guys for coming to watch the performances. But I love how Gote is organizing these workshops for creatives to educate on several matters here and there. It's a good thing. So Nubia told us that they started in June 2021 and it's been 3 years together. 3 years is a lot of time. Damn, congratulations. And they've written 1 released love song and 1 unreleased love song. Once again, Utamwa live shows ni unreleased, you guys. So the released love song is Mapenzi ya Cinema, which they performed, and the unreleased song is called Tunapendana. Na nilikuwa najiuliza, when this song was being performed, I was like, nimesikia wimbo because I was singing along. Like, I know this song. And even later when they performed during Folk Fusion, which I will talk about, nilirealize ninaiimba yote. They should release that song, by the way. Nubia, ibum release your wimbo, tunaitaka, thanks. So, back to the jam. Apo chini, apo mbele, there was somebody who had shakers. Now, there was nobody on drums on stage, by the way. There was a drum set, but Nubia were not performing with a drummer. So, umse wa shakers, kumbe pia ni drama. And he just asked to go to the drums. Akaambiwa, unaweza? Akapanda stage na akaenda akakaa kwa drums. Na akaanza kudrum without rehearsing. I'm telling you, that performance was vibes. They performed Niko Sawa, that is co-written by Ochiko and Yoya Tajiri. It's a really dope song. Kidogo nimeongea na watu wawili watatu hivi kwa audience. Kupenduka kuangalia stage. Ghafla binvu, kuna saxophonist kwa stage. There's somebody playing sax. Tulianza na keys, bass na lead guitar. Sasa sasa tuko na drummer na tuko na saxophonist. Like, hey bro, vibes. It was such an interesting jam session, by the way. That was really nice to watch. Next on stage was Maali. Maali was performing with the Unit Band. And then Maali made this joke, how there's Mark 1 and Mark 2 and he should be Mark 3. And yeah, that was funny. So the intro was an R&B song, akaingia, akidance, and then he did like the heartbeat thing, and I was like, damn, this is a superstar. And then he introduced the band. He did a couple of originals, and love this. He did his rendition of Nitangoja. I always love this rendition. Every time he has his performance, because the last time I performed, ilikuwa Afreenation. When he performed Catch Me If You Can, people were singing word for I should stop whistling. I should stop whistling. People were singing word for word, you guys. And then there's that cadence, Catch Me If You Can, when you're using your hands. If you know, you know. Ayrosh mngekoma mnaniona nikidance. Catch me if you can. Anyway, mimi si mwimbi. Mimi ni mtangazaji. Nina ongeza volume. Maali's audience engagement top tier, bra. Stage presence, ako inside, ako kila mahali, anakupoint, anakuangalia, anakuimbia. It was amazing. So during his probably most viral song, Stagger, the instrumentalists each did instrumental solos. And this was followed by random people in the audience busting moves. Like Maali was like, are you going to bust a move? And then somebody in the audience would bust a move. And then the audience would like move behind and copy him or her. Next person busts a move. And then everybody would like dance the same style. You guys, the jam was jamming. The jam jammed. It jammed. FYI, Maali has released his EP, Kama Hujaisikiza, Enda Usikize. And I cannot wait to hear the arrangement ya hizo mawimbo. Either we're gonna cry or we're gonna dance. There is no in between. There is no in between. Seeing Maali perform, you guys, nah, hakuna katikati. And alisema there's a lot of good things on the way. Alisema hatupati space ya ku breathe. So you guys watch out for something else from Mali. Lakini msiambie watu. Msiseme niliwaambia. Please msiseme. Now May ni mwezi wangu wa kuzaliwa. And I know when you're listening to this, it's already June. I had planned for this to be released in May, lakini ya Mungu ni mengi. Na wanasemanga nini, ya kuku ni mayai? Ama what do they say? But anyway, May nilirudi na hiyo fujo ya kukua nje. But niju events zilikuwa mingi. Acha nikwambie, May has suffocated us with a lot of good music, and it suffocated us with a lot of good events. So I can count about 5 major events that I attended in May. That's a lot. Nilienda mwanzo ya mwezi na mwisho wa mwezi. Katikati pia it's good to rest. Wasanii mmesikia, nyinyi ndo mnajifanyanga mjui ku rest. It is good to rest. On 2nd May, we attended the Fisherman Experience. Before the Fisherman Experience, I got to have a sit down with Costa Ojwang himself, mwenye show mwenyewe. And we had a really meaningful, long conversation that I got to post on socials, Instagram and TikTok. And it's a series of his career, his unreleased music, the dynamic with his band. It's just it's just about Costa, the music artist, because unajua pia ni visual artist. So it was everything Costa, the music artist. So you guys should go and watch it. Kuna a lot of exclusive information about the unreleased music that is upcoming. So kama mnataka some good details on that, you guys should go and check it out either on Instagram or on TikTok. The tag was Fishing with the Fisherman. So mnaweza tu msearch hapo Fishing with the Fisherman. On this day, on 2nd May, the rain kulinyesha, you guys. There was so much traffic everywhere. And then, you know, they've been like floods. Ini nakwambia, hii mwaka ili decide, let them have too many blessings. Yani mvua ni baraka, lakini shikeni sasa baraka mingi. That day, there was, nusura nichelewe. And I was hosting the event. So I could not afford to be late. Na si ati nilichelewa kutoka, but the traffic. Even Sarah was not able to make it, and she sent her apologies because the rain was mad, roads were bad. But anyway, I appreciate everyone who attended that event. By the way, I know I have said this a lot on the social media platforms, but nyi watu ni wazi. Wenye mlimanage kufika hiyo venue, nyi watu ni wazi. Sijui pale mlipitia, lakini you guys are awesome. So Nick, the DJ, was the one who opened the gig. He warmed us up a bit. There was a lot of cold. Hata when I went on stage to talk for the first time, watu tu walikuwa wananiangalia nikawa wamepigwa na baridi. Walikuwa wamepigwa na baridi ukweli. And you know, you could understand, you can't even blame them. But at the back of my mind, I was like, y'all don't know what is waiting for you guys. Ile joto yenye mnaenda kupata in a few minutes, amtaamini. It is always a pleasure emceeing alongside Nick the DJ. He makes it so easy. We did it at Wozaa World. We also did it at Fisherman Experience. And it's good. It's a good thing, by the way. Tuna eriwana. You guys, you can imagine, I started by mentioning Nick on this podcast as a DJ that I discovered in one of the episodes, and then now I am actually emceeing alongside him. Like, bruh, it's crazy. So Coco Coseso was the first one to come on stage, and the only performers were just Coco Coseso and Costa. So imagine missing such a full performance, both artists. The last time I think I saw Coco Coseso perform on stage, she was having a live at Alchemist, which we attended. Was that this year or last year? The timelines are a bit blurry. Ningekuwa na memory ya African Code, ningekuwa mbali, you guys. That guy remembers everything. After Coco Coseso, Costa came onto stage. His first set had his originals from Tales of a Fisherman and some from Fuenya. We learned that it is Fuenya and not Fueni. You know, the first time I said Fweni, Costa looked at me like, what did you just say? And I'm like, Fweni. Ama inasemwaje? See Revelations? Fweni? And he was like, I had to be taught that it's Fweny and not Fweni. Crazy. As always, Costa had his horn. Lazima angeipuliza kama kawaida. The name of the new album that Costa will release is called Imposter Syndrome No More. Hoping he won't change the name, because that is a really good title. It's an interesting title. We are really looking forward to it, by the way. Na usanii mlisema mmeamua hii mwaka ni work on yourselves. Juu album ya Savara inaitwa No Overthinking. Hii inaitwa Imposter Syndrome No More. Love it. Love it. We are just working on ourselves. Wenye mlikosa, he performed some of the songs from the new upcoming album. Utamwa live shows ni unreleased. Nitawaambia hadi lini. He called on to stage Kinoti. Na sio huo Kinoti mwenye anangojanga. This is another Kinoti, bruh. Yeah, I know. We were all surprised. They did some golden Luo songs like Christina, and the audience loved it. The audience loved it so much. Like, if you were Luo and you were in the audience, you had the time of your life. Costa left stage and Kokoseso did like 1 or 2 songs for a mini break. Costa akaenda definitely kukunywa maji nini, changed his outfit, then came back to stage for the second set. And he did more unreleased songs, more horn blowing, and then he called Okello onto stage. They performed Heramwandu by Musa Juma. Guys, I hope nimeisema vizuri. But I love how Costa went ahead and did covers by other legendary Luo artists. And he did not do them alone. He did them with artists that he has a connection with. Like him performing that song by Okello, wali post TikTok, wakifanya, you know the sounds that I would have said, but I'm not gonna say them because Jumi Simsani. And having them perform that on stage live with a full band, that was amazing. Speaking of full band, hata nimesahau kuambia, mnajua sasa band ya Costa imekuwa kubwa. Like, it was big. It is usually big. Lakini now it is bigger. It is bigger. And Clinton on percussions is no longer in the country, by the way. Ali gets a really good gig outside of Kenya, and congratulations for that, Clinton. The background vocalists went from just Coco to 2 other people. So now there's 3 background vocalists in total. Like Costa just said, you know what? I don't feel like the band is full enough. I want to add more people. Hata mimi niongeze kwa band basi Costa. Sijui nitapiga makofi. Ama nitaongeza volume. Yeah, I had to, guys. I had to. They did Hera and Sembo. And Costa did the Tingamalo remix yenye inapongana Blinky Bill ndani. Na mrelease your remix. Nini wasanii? Shida iko wapi? Mrelease your remix. Thanks. On 3rd May, nakwambia hiyo wiki ilikuwa kulamba glucose na kusonga. On 3rd May was the Fancy Experience by Fancy Fingers himself. Inayo nilijiambia ningekosa ningesikia vibaya. Ningeumwa. Because I am a huge fan of Fancy Fingers, his productions and his music. So at least I arrived when Adije was playing. Yay. So the first artist to come on stage was Keemlyf. Let me tell you guys. Unajua, when that guy was performing, I didn't even know who he was. Because I didn't hear Aki get introduced at first. And after when the name was displayed on the screen, it didn't hit me who it was. But when I would hear him perform, because alikuwa anacheza na playback, so his music was playing as he was also singing, I identified him through his music. Like, I didn't know his face. I didn't even know his artist name. But when I heard it, I was like, I know this guy. And I kept on telling people, I know this guy. And I remember that they released a remix of his recent songs featuring Bien. And I was like, what's Williams have a collaboration with Bien? The one we kept on asking ourselves, so ni nani? Ni nani ame collaborate na Bien? But the fact that Bien has actually accepted to collaborate with you, it's like, okay, so who is this? And I even went to Spotify and I checked and I was like, yeah, it's him. It is actually him. And I was so glad. I was so excited. I even went and recorded a video of him performing. And he eventually closed the performance with that banger with Bien. It's called Freeze Time. That guy has stage presence. Like, unajua, the Fancy Experience was happening at NSK and there were no seats close to the stage. It was just like open dancing space, and then at the back ndo kulikuwa na mameza. So this is the first performer. So watu hawajaenda bado yo base ya kudance. People are still seated, vibing, talking at the back. And this guy was performing like people were literally up on mbele, and it made me so happy. It made me so happy because Fenagitu mentioned the same thing kwa the Yega workshop that we attended yenye nime write about. Fena said, ata kama una open event na we ni msanii, like perform like you're performing to 10,000 people. And that was what Keemlyf did. And it made me so happy because I was like, yay. And I was there just vibing. Tulikuwa like a few people up with mbele. That guy is a performer, by the way. He's a performer. Wacha sasa I release more music na a perform na live band. Niko sure itadonjo. Like, I don't even doubt it. So, when the DJs were performing, mimi unajua mimi sisikizangi ma DJ sana. Especially kama hawachezi Kenyan music. So, I decided to walk around the venue. Plus, nikiingia nilikuwa nimeona to something hapo karibu na entrance. So, I went back. And it was titled The Fancy Guitar Museum. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Let's have a look at this. So there were displays of guitars hapo hivyo kwa hiyo booth. And the first guitar on the left ilikuwa imetitoliwa The Fancy Fingers guitar line. So kila guitar ilikuwa imehangiwa na iko na ka description kake to tell the story. And I loved that. I loved that so much. It gave an immersive experience of, the whole fancy experience. And the description of the first guitar was, this guitar mold is how the guitar build process looks like. The guitars are made from Kenyan wood by Kenyan luthiers. I hope I'm saying it right, luthiers. Yo luthiers tulijua from Guitar Festival yenye ili happened last year. There's an episode on it, G for guitar, that is episode 5, and then muisikie. The second guitar was titled The First Guitar, Mwanzo. And the description was, his dad gave him 5K, Kenyan shillings, to buy a mobile phone right after high school. He bought a guitar instead and never regretted the decision. And I was just like, oh my God, look at it. I felt like touching it, but I didn't touch it. That was really cool. And he said it was used to compose the Mwanzo album ya Sauti Sol. Nikaanza kujiuliza, unaimagine akisema anataka kuuza hiyo guitar, atauza how much? Okay, I know it has a lot of sentimental value. I don't think he's gonna sell it. But just imagine if he decided to sell that guitar, like a collection, ama kuuza hiyo collection, inaweza kuwa how much? I don't know, you guys. Itabidi tu mmegezi niambie. It was a wild thought. The other guitar was titled The Fancy Fingers guitar line, and the description was nylon guitar that is from the first prototype. It is handcrafted at all stages of development. And the last one was the steel string guitar that is also from the first prototype, and it is also handcrafted at all stages of development. That museum was really cool. Nikasikia Ochiko anaenda kuintroduciwa stage, mimi huyo chap went back karibu na stage. By this time watu walikuwa wamesonga mbele kwa dance floor. Nyukabi Masharia was the one who was emceeing, and she did a great job. Ochiko was playing with Dan keys, Sokoro on drums, and Icelid on lead guitar. There's a time Sokoro was telling me that I am not ready to experience Ochiko's live set. Na zote zenye alikuwa na perform previously, I wasn't able to attend, so I was looking forward to experiencing it. He performed songs from Footprints, the album, and Wodhera, the EP. My favorite performances were Perfect Song and Easier. Nilishindwa hata kurecord. Tulikuwa tunaimba hapo kando na kidawa. Hey, we sang. Last time I experienced Ochiko performing live vizuri ilikuwa Geco last year. So you can imagine your absence nayo nilikuwa nimemiss kuona hiyo performance. Now, something that shocked me about Ochiko's performance. On socials, niliona akisema people have been listening to Slowly a lot. And Slowly might have been one of those surprise songs, which is a good thing. I am happy for him. So, Slowly is a bit slow. It's a bit slow. But the arrangement enye alitengeneza ya slowly for that day was a fast rendition. And I have experienced slowly ikiwa pole pole, ikiwa slow. And also having experienced the fast rendition, personally, I prefer the slow rendition. I don't know if it's because nimezoea kusikiza the original version when streaming, but pia the live version yenye nilisikia ikiwa pole pole. For me, that was better. If you were there during Ochiko's performance at the Fancy Experience, what did you think of the first rendition of Slowly? Did you guys like it? Because hadi kulikuwa na point yenye tulikuwa tunaruka and I Slid Hose on guitar even did that dun, 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 ya Mwaki. Yeah, during Slowly. That is how fast it was. I'm not even kidding. But then again, unaweza pata, probably doing a fast rendition of Slowly was to match the energy in the room. Maybe the event was not for such slow, somber songs. I would really want to know the reasoning behind having to do a fast rendition of Slowly. Yeah, if you're there, you guys, tell me what you think. But me, personally, I prefer the slow version of Slowly and not the fast rendition of Slowly. Cedo also performed. Cedo, yes, the producer, he performed. I know you're asking yourself, you've never heard Cedo sing. So how did he perform? Na unajua sisi, lovers of instrumental music, we ate well. Iyo siku, Fancy Experience, hey. We ate with a big spoon. Spoon big, him say. So Cedo was at the front with keys. There was somebody else at the back on keys. There was someone on bass and there was someone on drums. He reintroduced himself. And you know how he did that? He was playing his bangers. Alisema, I know you guys have heard, and then he's playing the song. And I know you've heard, and then he plays the song. And I know you've heard, and I'm like, hey, calm down, Mr. Bangers. Mr. Bangers, please calm down. I loved that he had to reintroduce himself. Like, I am a G, and y'all don't know me, but y'all are gonna know me. I also saw that he performed at Cavalli, and I'm sure it was probably about the same experience. So it is beautiful to see that producers wameanza kufanya shows. Allah, me, I love it. Like, a producer doesn't have to be a DJ anymore. Because I was listening to 30% Pod, and they were saying a lot of producers also have to be DJs so that they can, play in clubs and everything, side gigs, etc. But seeing Cedo play keys, yo, it was giving Mutoria. I love it when producers perform. It's amazing. Akili yao inakuanga so sophisticated, and when they get to deliver that in their music, it's just beautiful to watch, especially live music. I already put Cedo's videos on social, so you guys can go and check that out. Now, the man of the hour, the man of the day, Fancy Fingers, came onto stage. So, Manasseh Shalom and Lisa Oduor were the background vocals. Wasanii wa kutajika, wanakubijivia. Hey! Mashallah. Let me tell you, Live in NBO said, there can never be too many guitars on stage. Like, hey, that was like the holy grail of guitars. Msay. Sada Malaki was on bass guitar. Ivy Alexander was on lead guitar. Fancy Fingers had his own lead guitar. And Manasseh Shalom was holding his acoustic guitar. Like, hizo ni guitar ngapi mse? Kwa stage moja. Na wote walikuwa wanacheza. And they were all in sync. But one thing I also know, they did a lot of rehearsals. Like, I could see they would go live on Instagram when they were rehearsing, and that is how a lot of effort was actually put into it, and it actually delivered and gave what it was supposed to give. Fancy Fingers did 2 sets, and there was a soda break in the middle. He did an acoustic set with Gavi Mbehero on keys. Kuna wimbo aliongeza stanza. I think it was Navutishwa. And he was like, wimbo ilikuanga na stanza. Niliambiwa niache kusema stanza. Niseme verse. Yes, so there's an extra verse in one of the Suda songs. And he performed it. I think that was cool. That was what stood out for me for that performance. And also he did doorstep. I don't think I've heard him perform doorstep as often. But then again, I haven't attended Bensoul's events in a minute. Nimeona kwa lineup ya blankets na nimekuwa nikimalizia revision playlist ya blankets ya July 7th July. So I am looking forward to that. Anyway, turudi kwa Fancy Fingers. He performed some of the tracks from Further Studies, the album. My favorite hapo inakwanga Rumba Toto, obviously. He did some songs from Love Language. He called on to stage several collaborators from the album. So unajua album ni an all-female album. And it was cool that Lisa was BGVing and she was also part of the album. They did Nyathidala, which is one of my favorites from the Love Language album. He performed Sauti Sol favorites, Akina Susanna. He called Cedo back onto stage and they did Mungu Peke. And Polycarp sang. Nyinyi wenye mnasemanga Polycarp hawezi imba, hiyo ni uongo. He can sing. Acha nikwambie, niliambiwa hii kitu ya kuimba ni kitu ya kujifunza. You're not necessarily born singing well. It's very teachable, apparently. That is something I learned. I've always been a fan of Fancy Fingers. And I love that he could express himself via both his music and still playing guitar on the same stage. Like, you could have seen him. I was just so happy. And he seemed so happy. And it was just beautiful. The whole experience was amazing to watch. It was sensational. The arrangements were fire, you guys. Damn. Zilikuwa moto. And while at it, he's still a super producer. And they played Kudade. Eyo Kudade mlingoja idrop. Hey! And it finally dropped. The next day, 4th May, niliwaambia, yo wiki, kwanza ilikuwa my birthday week. Yo wiki nilikuwa tu ninalamba glucose, nina move on. Next day, nalamba glucose next day. Because imagine attending 3 days continuously events. So on 4th May was a special day. Ilikuwa listening party ya EP ya Njerae kabla itoke, titled Out with the Old. And I was hosting the listening party. But there you guys, mnafahamu nite ni wa MCA events. And I also host events. So if you have any events coming up, I am your go-to host. I am your go-to MC. Another cool thing I did for the listening party, I curated the playlist that was playing before the event started and during breaks and even after the event ended. That was very special. And the playlist was dope. It is still there, and it's a public playlist. I'm going to put the link in the description for you guys to access it. The assignment for that playlist was to curate a playlist with tracks with Njerae vibe from Kenyan artists and Africa as a whole. Sasa unajua mimi majority tu nitapea tu Kenyan artists. So the listening party had Shad Mziki, who was going to perform. He performed an acoustic set and he performed an unreleased song. Utamwa live shows ni unreleased. And you know why this was so exciting? It's because he released that song 2 weeks ago. And he also performed Sherehe December, which is one of his most viral songs. Then it was time for Njerae. Simnajua hashtag ni gani? Hashtag mwaka wa Njerae. Njerae said, what is a Njerae event without a Njerae performance? So she performed some of her famous songs. Alizi perform acoustic. Njerae told us the story for OTD, how it came to be. What I love about Njerae is how she's always willing to share the stories about her music, how they came to be, what inspired her, what she was experiencing in that moment in time when she was writing the song. It makes our connection to the music even way better. And we love the music even more. She performed Baki Peke Yako for the first time, which is the first song that was released off the EP before the whole EP was released. And something so intriguing about this, the audience actually sang along. So it was time to finally listen to the EP. It was such an exciting moment. When you mmekuwa hapa for a minute, you know how unreleased music is so exciting. So one of the songs on the EP is a collaboration with Maali. Another of the songs is a collaboration with Lisa Oduor Noah, which was first performed on a YouTube series that Njerae used to have called The Rave. There's a collaboration with Watendawili, iyo baki peke yako. There's a collaboration with Mbithi, but he was not present. And the other song is a single by Njerae, just her. So Maali was called onto stage and he shared the story on the song. It's titled Kweli.
This song is called Kweli. It's born out of a very natural engagement between Njerae and I, where I think at first I told, if not I DM'd her directly, I told a friend to tell her, hey, do you work with Njerae? I will tell her we need to do something surely. Then one day I get word back down the grapevine. She said yes. I said, oh, okay. So now we met up, we talked about our feelings and life and the kind of music we like to write. I just went back and forth. I still have the audios on my phone, so one day I'll post them. We were there for like 3-4 hours. We chopped, and then something really beautiful came out of it. So this next song is Kweli. I think it's a love song, pretty much. It's a love song from Njerae and I to you guys.
Then afterwards, they performed the song itself, and the vocals, the blending of Njerae's voice and Maali's voice is heavenly. The producer for the project was Kobe Worldwide. I've always wondered, who is this Kobe Worldwide? And finally, we got to see his face. He was called onto stage, and we finally put the face to the name. Njerae's mom was also in attendance, and she was given an opportunity to speak. I thought that was really, really nice. She said that she supports art, and a fact that really touched my heart, and I'm sure a lot of people who are in attendance. She said that the journey started a long time ago, and it started when she received a note when Njerae was in class, was it 1 or 2, saying that your daughter can sing. That was about like 20 years ago. And she asked the mom to find time and, nurture the talent. And I thought that was really special because look at us now enjoying Njerae's amazing abilities and talent. What I loved about this listening party, you remember the last time, because the venue was the KO, the craft room. The last time we were in that craft room, ilikuwa listening party ya Ochiko. And you guys, you remember niliwaambia kwa some previous episode how people were making so much noise during the listening party. Like, inaitwa listening party. And I was just praying and hoping that watu hawatapiga kelele kwa listening party ya Njerae. But you know what? I was the host. So mimi ningekuwa tu prefect vile nilifanya hiyo time ya Ochiko. Ni vile tu hiyo time ilikuwa unwarranted. This time ningekuwa na, the authority to actually tell people, yo, we came here to listen. We did not come here to talk. But you know what? Imagine guys didn't make noise. People were actually listening. And you guys, I appreciate you guys so much. You are a beautiful audience for just cooperating and listening and giving Njerae your attention. That was beautiful. When the event was over, tuliteremka chini downstairs. Bia District, Yaba was performing same day. Tulipata akiperform na collaborators Brian Sigu, Ayrosh from the new album Zitakazopendwa and Costa. Mimi at that point nilikuwa nime shut down Akili because it was a few minutes to my birthday. I am still accepting gifts, very much so. Still accepting M-Pesa. Feel free to gift me ukiniona. Thanks. Sijui niweke till number kwa description pia. Now somewhere in May, yes, I did cut my locks. The next week, I did cut my locks. Najua hiyo haihusu events, lakini inanihusu. And I had to announce it to you guys. But it was a necessary thing for me to do. Hopefully, with time, we'll see if the locks will be back. If not, we'll see what life has to offer. Tuone kama naweza afford salon. Lakini mimi nachukia blow dry. Damn. Hizi ni changes. Anyway, moving on. Tuko karibu kumaliza. Vumilia. Shikilia kiti. Kidogo tu. Just a little longer. We're almost at the end. Tumebakisha events 2 peke yake. Tufunge hii catch up yetu. So unaona sasa tumekaribia tuko Mei, ndio hii tunamaliza. So on 18th May, I attended Gufy's Poetry Show that was titled From What We Have Lost. I didn't think much about the title, by the way. I was just like, it's a Gufy show. I'd love to attend that. Na mtu akaona it would be good to get me the ticket as my birthday gift. And that was really sweet and nice. Thank you. So I won't say much about Gufy's show because I have read a review that was done by Sana Kwasana, and it is so detailed. I really enjoyed that read. So I'm gonna put the link to that in the description. I hope easy links as Jakwa Mingi Sana. I'm gonna put the link in the description so you guys can go and read and have the immersive experience. Because when I was reading the article, I was reliving the whole experience for real. It's like I was going back to that day. But I'm gonna go through it quickly, very quickly. Alafu mwende msome. So, the band was actually the Babas. Yay! The Babas comprises of Rasamor, who was on keys, Baraza, who was playing bass, and Mathainjama, who was playing lead guitar and the acoustic guitar. And all of them were also on vocals. There was a choir on the right side of the stage, and Polaris was part of the choir. If you know me, you know I am a huge fan of Polaris. The lights were blue at the beginning as the curtain was just being raised. And then they were all still on stage, like it was giving a dramatic effect. And then something that I loved about this stage setup was how the lamps were hanging overhead. Mwenye alifanya stage design, alifanya kazi fiti sana. And at the end of the show, Gufy gave us the various people who are responsible for the various things. And the guy on lights, I need to mention that one. He's called David Oiwa. Man, you did an amazing job on setting the mood for the whole show from the beginning to the end. The lights were on point. They were on point. Also, another interesting fact was the merchandise and posters were done by Zod Files. Huge fan of Zod Files. He's a visual artist. Gufy's stylist was Brian Babu. Did an amazing job. An overall gist of the event, Gufy did poems. Not only Gufy, actually. There were several other poets like Abe Rogato. There were pieces on several types of loss. And when I'm telling you guys, I didn't think about the title when I was going. Mi nilikuwa naenda tu juu ni show ya Gufy. Like, I didn't put in much thought about the title. Bruh. It was a deep dive on loss. Guy. Anyway, it's not a laughing matter. The poems addressed several types of loss, like losing love, losing loved ones, extrajudicial killings, people dying, miscarriages, just different types of loss. There was even a skit with a lady called Stella, and they were there throwing cuss words and reenacting like some sort of toxic relationship. Crazy. Kama umekuwa kwa toxic relationship before, ungerelate. I'm not saying that I've been in a toxic relationship, but I'm just saying if you've been in one, you would relate. Moving on. Polaris performed Leo Lazima. I even tweeted about this. Leo Lazima is a song by Polaris. It even used to have a music video, and we would really love that song on DSPs and on YouTube, at least to enjoy. And she also performed another unreleased track. They projected a skit that I think I've seen on Instagram before with Kimanzi, Yoya, and Gufy. And towards the end, Gufy asked us to say the names of the people that we have lost and release them. As the choir sang and the band played, I cried like a baby. I cried. I sobbed. Alafu hiyo time yenye handkerchief yangu ili decide kuanguka hata sijui ilikuwa wapi. Bruh, I sobbed. I really cried, by the way. I was with my friend, she's called Prudence, and alikuwa amenishikilia tu the whole time because, But anyway, another reason I also chose to actually write and finish off the events from last year and not, talk about them the way I'm talking about these ones is because I lost a friend who I was supposed to do that episode with, and I wasn't able to bring myself to do that episode. I also wasn't able to bring myself to do a new logo and to start like a new season with the podcast, because I had planned to do that with him, but unfortunately he passed away. So that has also been why nimepotea kidogo. But I'm back. We heal and we move on. So that is why it got me really sobbing in that moment. But anyway, we released Gufy. Thank you. We decided to release Vitu. I wasn't even able to say his name. But we released. And indeed, from what we have lost, like, bruh. Hey! The final event, guys. The final event. You can now breathe. You can breathe. Tumemaliza. Now, I hope miss. The one and only Folk Fusion happened on 25th May 2024. Now, this time venue ilikuwa tofauti. It was in Paradise Gardens. And I also did a revision playlist for Folk Fusion. I enjoy doing the revision playlist for Folk Fusion because the lineup is always on point. What do you guys think of the new venue, by the way? Paradise Gardens. Si tulikwama tukienda. Ilikuwa before waeke hizo mamawe kwa hiyo barabara ya entrance. So ni kama sisi ndio tulifanya mwekewe mamawe. And I was dreading because I was supposed to go with a Land Cruiser, but I wasn't able to get a Land Cruiser. So I was with a Hiace. And I was like, guy, will this slay queen brave this road? Really? And imagine she didn't. Kalikwama. Hey, nimeleta gari ya lami kwa machinans bana. Hey, watu wa Geco wali manage kutusaidia. Thank you so much to those Geco guys, by the way. They found us stranded and stuck. They came and used their rope wakatu pull out of where we were stuck. So they were so kind. They were so kind. So thank you guys. Thank you Geco guys. Geco walikuwa wana vend food, so they had like a truck. So it's the one that pulled us out. Anyway, fast forward. The first artist on stage was Shad Mziki. I was still busy at this point, so I wasn't able to fully experience his set. But he had a full band and he had BGVs as well. And it sounded good from where I was. Second artist on stage was Nubia. Tumetoka kuongelelea from the jam. The ladies looked amazing. Wow. Their outfits and makeup looked so amazing. The name of the band that Nubia were playing with walikuwa naitwa Wahenguzi the Band, comprising of Brolin on drums, J. Clint the producer, and Boni Africa. Mnakumbuka ile release yenye nilikuwa ninawaambia hiyo tunapendana? They performed it. Hey, tell me how it became 7 at the end. Loved it. Utamwa live shows ni unreleased. They performed Mapenzi ya Cinema and the arrangement, full band, beautiful. The bass was, hey, Boni, you were doing the thing. Hey, they performed Niko Sawa. And when they started performing Niko Sawa, niko like, sasa set yao imeisha. The mentality ya kumaliza set na the most viral or the most famous song. But they didn't end the set there. It made me so happy. They didn't end the set there. They did other original singles of theirs. The next artist on stage was Fadhilee. Fadhilee was performing with Kasiva on percussions, Ebenezer on keys, Jack Muguna on lead guitar, Sam Githinji on drums, Mike Onyi on bass, and Fadhilee himself was having an acoustic guitar. That was such a fire combination. Like, these are dons. These are dons on those instruments. Bruh. Every instrument was so distinct and clear. Like, at some point the mic had issues, but they still played the instruments and they still sounded so good. You guys, when I was making the playlist for Fusion, I realized Fadhilee has a massive catalog. Hey! Mzako na maimbo mingi. And I also felt like the whole performance, he took his time. Like, he was not in a rush to like finish the songs. Sijui kukimbia kwenda wapi. And I love that he gave the instrumental parts of the songs enough time. Sisi wenye tunapenda instrumental music, we enjoyed Fadhilee's set, by the way. I loved how Fadhilee would explain the meanings of the songs, because some of the songs are in vernacular. So he would explain what the songs mean, and then he would perform them, or he would explain the inspiration before he would sing the song. Like if it's about maybe the current political state of the country and the songs are still relevant to from when he wrote them up to now, they're still relevant, and he would explain all that, and it would give much more meaning to the performance of that specific song. And it will also give you the need to go and search up that song afterwards and be like, there's this song he performed, he said 1, 2, 3. So even if you're listening to it and it's in Kiluya or whatever language, you will still relate to it because you know there's a message behind this, and this is the message, and it still sounds good. That is the beauty of music. His set was energy packed. People were jumping and jumping, and it even started drizzling when he was performing, but people were still jumping in the rain. They would go head to head with each other. Like Fadhilee would go like on a solo with Muguna on lead guitar, and then Fadhilee would also go on a solo with Mike Onyi, and they would go like head to head, like acoustic and bass, acoustic and lead, and woo, goosebumps. Like I was so starstruck I didn't even record. Nilikuwa tu ninaangalia like nina Marvel. That was really dope. So giza imeanza kuingia. The DJs that were playing in the middle of the set were Ali Fresh and Mura. Now, something about the DJ sets. At the beginning, we really enjoyed the sets. Like, they were even playing recently released music like Albumia Blinky and so much more. And it was purely Kenyan music. Like, we were enjoying it thoroughly. So they had a longer set at the beginning, and then they were having like short sets in between the performances. The MCs were Chaxi and Maria. So the next artist on stage was Cedo, and she was performing with the Charactaz Band, which is Sam on keys, Makmula on lead guitar, Edu on drums, Don Tambo on bass, Chris Barr was on background vocals, and Eriko was on percussions. I had missed Cedo on stage properly. I had really missed Cedo. And you know what? She went ahead and reminded us why she was the queen of folk fusion in the first place. She gave us classics like Akina Rongai. At some point, she called Mutoria onto stage to perform Pressure. There's a place where in the original song, they usually say Pesa. Now, I know I have mentioned it in one of the previous episodes that Mutoria is the one who started saying Manyo Pesa, because we've had Pressure performed so many times by Mutoria because Cedo was on maternity leave. Now, they were performing this song together with a full band for the first time ever. And they both said Manyo Pesa. Like, you guys, it's the small things. It's the small things. And then patinyo wanasemanga na kuna kesho, Mutoria akasema funga laptop. Guys, I'm sorry. Someone keys really went wild during Pressure. The arrangement by Cedo's band, by Charactaz, was so different. It was so new. What? Especially for the collaborations that involve Cedo. We have been used to the arrangements by the other party's band. Like now, we're used to Mutoria's band, how they arrange the songs. Like the collaboration with Costa, we are used to Costa's band. But now, it was such a fresh experience with the Charactaz, because the arrangement was different. Everything was different, and it was so new. Still on Pressure at some point, where they usually say we're going to be okay, they like personalized it and they told us to say, I'm going to be okay. We cried. It was raining and the rain washed away our tears. It was a very heavy and emotional moment.
You don't realize this, but it was released when I was heavily pregnant. Heavy. Now my daughter is about to be one. Come on, shout out to my girl. Yeah, you can call me Mama Chai and things. Anyway, I digress. We've actually never performed this song live. This was the first time. Yeah. So that was a folk fusion special. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Thank you.
The lights were always on point. They were always on point. Cedo performed Okello. Bro, the first time I experienced Cedo live was during Gig Dynamics Open House some years back. And the song that made me love her and look her up was Okello. And it was because of the part where she engages the crowd, where they say, Mimi ninarudi and Abiro, most Abiro. There, yes, that part. I even remember during Fish Market, there was this mic moment, and I was the one who was singing that part. And there's a picture that Chirukomet took, and it is a beautiful picture. Lakini sasa recording zangu za Fish Market zote zilienda na mwenye simu. If you know, you know. Now wenye wanajua ni juu wamesikiza episode 9 na wewe hujasikiza episode 9. Go and listen to episode 9 and find out what happened to my phone. Cedo's stage presence was on point. She has this infectious energy when she's on stage. She engages the audience. She's just an amazing performer. She performed Nyakachieng with her arrangement, vile nimewaambia. She didn't bring Costa on stage first. Ikafika hivi stanza ya Costa. Hey, mtu ametokea bwana. Hey. And they performed together and it was beautiful. Na Cedo ni danza. We danced in the rain. It was raining, guys. It was raining and we were dancing in the rain. She was having so much fun on stage. And she was having so much fun with us because we were also having fun. She then performed Kasiokiwa Mitumba, the famous song. And we were jumping in the rain and dancing like mad people. We unleashed our inner children, yani. But it was at the cost of our health, you guys. Hey, mi niligonjeka after hii event. And then there was another DJ break. Ninakumbuka during this DJ break after Cedo, they played Mvua. They played Pandabasi by Mvua. And I was like, you guys are playing Mvua kukiwa na Mvua. Damn. That was nice. Hype Balo also came on stage. Waki MC pamoja na Maria. At this point, they were still playing Kenyan music. Shikilia your point, Apo. So the next artist we were expecting on stage was supposed to be Watendawili, or so we thought. So we're just chilling in the audience, vibing to the music that the DJ is playing. Kidogo, a friend of mine tells me, Eyo, awasi Jukebox wamepanda stage. Kuangalia stage, indeed, Jukebox Band ilikuwa imepanda stage. And then also Kimbassax had his saxophone on stage. And when I saw Kimbassax, unakumbuka these same people walikuwa wapi? Vile nimewaambia walikuwa ile performance ya Ayrosh at Geco. So when I saw Kimba on stage with Jukebox, I was like, yeah, this is definitely Ayrosh. But I wasn't sure because Ayrosh was not on the lineup. So who else could it be? And then the MC came and said, you know, Folk Fusion, we are full of surprises. And I was like, okay, let's just believe this is a surprise. Okay, we'll just take it. So Ayrosh came onto stage and it was a full circle moment. Do you know why? Because at this point, Ayrosh had already released his much anticipated album by the title Superstar. And every song is a banger. Like every song is a hit. Maybe when that album came out, I had it on repeat. Do I understand Kikuyu? No. Did I have it on repeat? Yes. And I was just hoping and praying that this performance, because I didn't have the privilege to attend his album launch. I was exhausted from work. And I felt so bad for missing the album launch. So I was just hoping we would get some not unreleased. Nimeza unreleased sana. We would get some of the songs from the new album. And true to that, he actually did perform songs from the album and it made me so happy. Oh my gosh, it made me so happy. He performed the first song on the album, Scandalous. That's what I just recognized it from the moment they started playing it. And I love the horns on Scandalous. And Kimbassax delivered exactly how they sound on the song. I'm sorry. I think this was so exciting for me because it wasn't expected. Haikuwa kwa lineup, we were not expecting to see Ayrosh on stage. Ningekuwa nimejiprepare psychologically, the reaction ningekuwa different. But this was all a surprise, and I was experiencing it for the first time. I was just marveling. To make it even better, he then invited Mutoria to come on stage. And we were seeing Mutoria the second time on that stage in one night. And what collaboration do they have on the Superstar album? Jangwani. Hey, another favorite from the Superstar album. They performed it, and then on Jangwani, the song, when you stream it, at the end is a part where they talk and they say, shout out to Kuria wa Jangwani, RIP, I don't know who, and then, just some funny ad-libs. Do you know, at the end of the Jangwani performance, they said those things. Hey, my lord. Hey. It's the small things, by the way. It's live performances are just an accumulation of the small, intimate parts that make them remarkable. They said those two words and they laughed and they had like a whole moment on stage, and it was just so beautiful to watch. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Why am I so excited? Oh, let me calm down. It's just, music gets me so excited, especially live performances. They just, trying to calm down. They get me so excited. I like, in such moments, I just remember why I started Ongeza Volume in the first place. I'm just like, when I was experiencing that, I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to tell you guys about it. Yani, ay. Okay, guys, able to move on. Atuna time. But for real, Ayrosh choosing to perform his new music was everything, and people were singing along. Na ini project mpya. Nisikie mtu akisema ati atupendi Kenyan music. Nobody even says that anymore. I don't know why we say kuna watu wanasema owe. Hakuna mtu anasema. Sisi wote tunapenda hii muziki. So shortly after Ayrosh was Watendawili, kulikuwa na DJ set hapo katikati. Sasa kwa hizi DJ sets za mwisho ndio wakaanza kucheza na feelings zetu. So Watendawili, band ya Watendawili wakapanda stage. The band ni the same na ya Cedo Charactaz, but minus Makmula. Instead of Makmula, it's Jamie Muindi. So after the band set up, Watendawili wakapanda stage. They entered the stage with masks on. Onyach had like those anonymous hackers masks in red, and then Yoya had like a gorilla mask. We were just like, oh, okay. Regardless of them not coming onto stage earlier, the Watendawili set was actually it for me. We got rained on. Like, the rain was increasing in intensity. Lakini nayo kuimba, tulimba word for word. Auku unasikia baridi when they were on stage. Let me tell you something. Being part of the organizing team of Wozaa World, as amazing as the event was, we were not able to fully experience what you guys experienced. So for me, this was the first time I was actually fully experiencing Watendawili live on stage. Because yes, tulikuwa kwa rehearsals, we were behind the scenes and everything, but it's never the same. Because now being on the consumer end is the beautiful part of everything. And I had missed that. I had really missed that. I had missed just being in the audience and just absorbing everything in 3D. Listening to the Watendawili set fully in the audience, oh, amazing. They did tracks from the Love Language EP and the Double Treble EP, which is the most recent project. What stood out for me for this performance was they recently released a song called Kupendwa Nawe, and they performed it live with a full band for the first time. At least I was experiencing it live for the first time. Within the set, they had these dance routines, and it looked like they had rehearsed, and it was just nice to watch them dance together. Yoya kept on sliding. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that it was raining, and you see the stage has like a kishelter, and then at the front of the stage kuna speakers. So these speakers zilikuwa zimefunikwa na a waterproof cover. So now Yoya, more often than Ata Onyach, would come step on the speakers. Like, stepping on the speakers is normal during a performance, but it was raining and we were being rained on, which is fine. So I feel like it was good that walikuwa wanatukaribia, but Yoya kept on sliding. Lakini uzuri tulikuwa hapo. If you know, you know. I was so worried about the microphones. Yani mimi nilikuwa vitu zenye nilikuwa nafikiria every time Yaya would come and step on that speaker zilikuwa tu. I was just thinking of an exit plan in case he would slide, and I was just worried for the microphones. What if they stopped working? But anyway, none of that happened, and the performance went on really well. Wachana na anxiety. Anxiety is a liar. At the end of the performance, Chaksi came and he made a request for a song to be performed. And then instead of performing that song, they started performing Inakubalika. And Maria came and danced with all of them. Some of the MCs also joined and they danced the Inakubalika dance routine. And then now Watendawili exited the stage. Now, hapa sasa ndio mambo yalienda segemnege kidogo. After Watendawili, the DJ set took extremely long. So the information that I had was Okello Max was supposed to be the next performer. Yes. Tukosemos up, sawa. So Okello Max had 2 gigs on that day. He was supposed to perform at We Love R&B. Then, because his set was earlier, he was supposed to finish We Love R&B and then come to Folk Fusion to, finish off the night because he was the last performer. Now, apparently, the schedule at We Love R&B delayed. I mean, Kenyan timing. And Folk Fusion, I love the fact that Folk Fusion kept time. You guys, we appreciate that, kabisa. Folk Fusion kept time until it was time for Watendawili to perform. Ndio sasa kina Ayrosh wakaingia, and then now things started, falling behind in time. But time was kept at Folk Fusion. So, I tend to assume that since time was not kept at We Love R&B, Okello had to come to Folk Fusion because iwa walikuwa wamekeep time. But now, if we had kept time, tell me why that break was that long. Surely. Tumenyeshewa. Mimi, let me tell you. Even the band came on stage. Okello's band came on stage. And we stood there in the rain. This guy took so long to come on stage. Why? What was happening? And if the band was at the venue, it meant Okello was also at the venue. Sasa, surely. What took so long? At the cost of our health. Tunaelewa it was our choice, but imagine the audience has invested time. The audience has invested money. Tumekwama kwa matope. Tumefika kwa venue. Tumekula. Tumekunywa. We've done everything. We were having such a good time. But now when it comes to the last performer, the DJ set went for so long. It was honest. And then, ata ingekuwa duration refu na wanacheza Kenyan music, ni sawa. Wakaanza sasa kucheza set ya non-Kenyan music. They were alternating between hype men, If a hype man is coming, I want to assume that hype men usually have their own unique set. That's what I've noticed from time to time. Hype men have their favorite songs. Juu ukiona kwa TV na kwa events nini, you tend to see that there's some dance routines that they have with specific songs. So they know how to hype with particular songs. Sindio? Sawa. So now, every hype man would come, anasema, achezewe vitu zake. Anachezewa hapo club set yake, watu wanaruka kwa mamvua. It's fine. Maybe it worked for some people. But that is not Folk Fusion, as we know. Sisi wenye tumeattend Folk Fusion before. It felt like a club. Mgengoja hiyo mwende mpeleke huko B&D Kiamburo denye mlikuwa mnasema mnenda after party. Because that did not feel like Folk Fusion. And this is not just feedback from myself. This is feedback from so many other people. Ata ukienda Twitter, when you search Folk Fusion recent tweets, this is the same feedback that is on there. There's a place where there's somebody who said they were skeptical about Folk Fusion DJs and they were not sure if they play Kenyan music. And I even vouched. Nikaenda hapo nikasema, worry not, my dear. Worry not. We know those DJs when you're wanachezanga Folk Fusion, Mura na Ali Fresh. We know them. And they usually play Kenyan music purely. Mimi, I vouched for them. Other people, akina Karaoke Chege, they went and vouched for the same DJs. And we were so sure that they're going to play Kenyan music. Tell me why. Also, Mura quoted that tweet and he said, we usually play Kenyan music at Folk Fusion. Sasa, accountability partners ndio sisi sasa. People went and quoted that Mura tweet and asked, now what was that? Now what was that? Surely. What was that? It pains because we know you guys. We know this guy. Like, tunawajua. And you guys play Kenyan music. We don't know what went wrong on that day. And we did not like it. It's as plain as that. We did not like it. We were extremely exhausted. We were cold. We were full of mud. And what started out so well ended at a really weird note. But anyway, I hope the message is home. Acha tuingie kwa hii. Nisaribu mood sana. Juu hata sijaongelelea performance ya Okello Max. So after this performance that seemed an ending ya non-Kenyan music, yeah, Jumping in the Rain, yeah, ×3. Okay, I don't know if they played yeah ×3, but that is what I usually classify as non-Kenyan music, that is club music, that is played everywhere, yeah, ×3. So, Okello comes on stage, yeah? The band... Nasikia kama mood yangu imeharibika na hiyo story ya non-Kenyan music, hata nimeumwa na kichwa. But anyway, let me fix my mood. Tumalize kitu on a good note, because Okello's performance nayo ni story ingine. Hey. Wah! Ongeza Volume family, I hope mko poa. Sawa. Tuendelee, tuko sawa sasa. Tumetulia, calm down. So, Okello Max. Something about Okello Max, the last time I saw him perform at a proper stage, sijaenda shows zake mingi sana. A fond memory ni performance ya Blankets. And he was performing with Kabaseke, and Trevor was the one who was running tracks. And Trevor produced hizo tracks. Ani zilikuwa zinasound ni kama band ilikuwa inacheza, which was really cool. But believe it or not, Okello Max, the one and only, had a full band. I don't know if you guys have gotten me right. A full band. That is not normal. That is yes, kawaida. For me, that was a big deal. Because I had never experienced that before. And props to him, by the way. Props to him and his team for deciding to play with a full band. That was really good. So the band, of course, Kabaseke was there, lead guitar. Dre Masharia was the one who was playing drums. Nick Kera was the one who was playing bass guitar. And Lucas Moesh was the one who was playing keys and who was also the music director. Okello also had BGVs. One was Lisa Oduor and the second one was Jojo. So my expectations for Okello's performance, I haven't seen him perform in a minute. And he has released a lot of music. So I even remember when I was curating the revision playlist for Folk Fusion, I remember saying on socials how I was so nervous about Okello's performance because sijashika ngoma zake zote. He has several new releases na sijazishika. It was giving me so much anxiety. But I was still hoping they would have these songs in the set. And true to that, the first song was Sunset off the Cuffed in Love EP. That song, sikuwa naisikizanga sana. Like, nilikuwa naisikiza kidogo. Mimi, the song I was obsessed with is the song that has my name, Diana. Lakini after kusikia arrangement ya Sunset, this was the first time experiencing Sunset live and with a full band. Walipanga hiyo arrangement wewe. Hey. And then, Sunset was the first song. Wakienda hivi katikati ya wimbo, sound ikaharibika. And actually, several times in Okello's set, sound ilikuwa inajizima for some reason. And I would tend to think it is because the rains were just increasing in intensity. So maybe the rains were tampering with something. Because kwa hizi performances zingine zote, hakuna performance ya mtu sound ilikuwa inazimika. It was just Okello's performance. But the good thing is, Okello would bring back people's energy. But this time, the rain is very heavy. It is extremely heavy. It is pouring. But where are we? We are in the rain. So every time the song would stop due to sound, they would, when it's fixed and the sound comes back up, they would start the song from the beginning. Sunset had a keyboard solo at the end that just got me. Hey!
Whatever happens, taking all my chances, going all the way, and I'm here to stay. You're my sunset, view is super perfect, going all the way, and I'm here to stay.
He performed some favorites from the Boss album, akina Hera Kakaheri. He continued to perform new releases. He performed Genesis. I love Genesis. Kabaseke made it sound exactly like it sounds on the record. Nick on bass was just killing it. Dre on drums, Lucas on keys. The band understood the assignment. They took Okello's music and owned it. Ni kama ni wao ndo waliandika. The arrangement did not disappoint. The rumba was rumba-ring inside. Because Ojwang was then called onto stage. He came in a white raincoat thingy and they performed Sembo. The arrangement was different from the Fisher's Band. Same thing vile nimewambia ya Cedo. Like when you're used to a particular collaborative song being performed by one band, unakonga na ka expectation, but it comes and gets knocked off by another person's band because they don't arrange it the same way, and it's a refreshing experience. They performed Hera. And before they performed Hera, Costa said, ametoka ushago na amekuja na mbogi. When the song starts, a whole crowd of people in the same white raincoat come onto stage with like wanagonga drums, and they have like these different instruments, and they're like dancing and chanting all around stage, and they're going around in circles, jumping and dancing like some sort of ritual thing. And it was interesting. It was funny for me kidogo, but it was actually very intriguing to see all that unravel. And then sound ikaribu. But you know what? Even if the sound went off, imagine waliendelea kurukaruka na kudance na ma instrument, and it was still very audible to us. Like tulikuwa tunasikia everything still going on. Dre did not stop playing drums. So Dre on drums, and then these other drums zenye zilikuwa zinapigwa na hao watu wenye walikuwa wanazunguka hapo kwa stage, zilikuwa zina sound poa, in sync, regardless of the sound being off. Ebu sikieni. And the beautiful thing is we still vibed and we still danced. But now when the sound got fixed, those guys, they left stage. That was sad. And every time the sound would get back, it would sound better. For some reason, it would sound clearer. Ama ilikuwa tu illusion. Ebu mniambie you guys wenye mlikuwa hapo. Ikirudi ilikuwa ina sound clearer. Anyway, even though the dancers left stage, Okello was left on stage with Costa and they were dancing together. Okello played Diana. Oh, I love this song. And you guys, even before Okello played Diana, people were requesting it from the crowd, and I was like, oh, so we all love this song. And I think what makes this song even more special, regardless of you not understanding what the lyrics mean, on YouTube he has put a translation of the lyrics in the song on the video, and you can read through like what he's singing, and I think it gives it even a heavier meaning. It gives it more intensity. Maybe he wrote this song for me, you guys. Okay, no, we're not being delusional here, please. He said he wrote it for his wife, but what if I'm his wife? Ladies! Moving on. Tukue serious, guys. The Diana performance did not disappoint. Kabaseke outdid himself, and Nick Hera on bass, generally the whole band. Okello called on to stage Watenda Willy. Onyacha kakuja na mask tena. They performed wale. Yaya akaenda tena kupanda speaker. Nusura tena a slide. Mimi pressure. Yaya. And then Nick Hera went wild during wale. Ata Kabaseke. Then he performed Nakufa. At some point alikuwa anaharakisha hiyo performance akisema ati mnajua mtanifuata we love R&B. No! You don't do that. You don't do that. Actually, some people found that offensive. Na walisema hadi Twitter. Because people have paid for folk fusion. Hey, that was no. Like, I feel like the audience at folk fusion was not even supposed to notice or know that he was going to perform at another stage unless they found out like some other way. But him announcing on a folk fusion stage ati I'm going to another stage, that's why I have to hurry up and go there. Hata angejiharakisha tu bila kusema sijui another stage. Na bado huko We Love R&B, I saw people complaining on Twitter that the performance was also rushed. Hata take time basi folk fusion. Anyway, there's a way Okello imitates, like he's going to throw the microphone. It's like he's playing golf. I think that's a really cool thing to do, like especially when he's about to end the performance. Anyway, tumefunga. That was folk fusion. Yes, that was folk fusion. Now, in conclusion, kama umefika hapa, unanipenda sana. Unapenda Ongeza Volume na unapenda mziki. And I truly appreciate you for reaching this far in this episode. And because we have said so much and we are now up to date. Yay! I'm so happy. I am so happy. We are now up to date. So we are officially back. Anywhere I will be going in this country, outside this country, I am carrying you guys with me. And we're going to go together. And we're going to continue discussing the good, the bad, the everything, the middle, the whatever. We're going to do some things differently, of course, because of the whole rebrand. I hope you guys mona logo mpya. Yay! How is it? I hope you guys like it. I like it. I like it so much. So some things here and there, mtaziona ziko tofauti kidogo, but I hope you guys will be as accommodating as you have been, because we say this is a community. Ongeza Volume is you, Ongeza Volume is me, Ongeza Volume is everyone. And since that has been a lot, and we have already highlighted a lot of projects from this year, I think it is only nice that we end it here. So I have been your host, Abigail Diana. Until next time, so excited to be back, you guys. Bye.
Wagwan Ongeza Volume, this is just a message from Billy Black himself to you, letting you know that the Billy Black EP is out on all platforms as we speak at this very moment, everywhere. Go listen to it while you'll be cooking, while you'll be driving, while you'll be just chilling. When it starts raining, just make yourself a nice warm cup of something and just drink while listening to the Billy Black EP. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you guys, man.